Alright, I guess I will boldly go where no man should go. To be serious comments. Ooh. Anyway, yeah, it's on the Tranquil video. And it's just more of this, like, if she would do this in videos and be honest, then she'd be known for the skanky bitch that she is. And, yeah, it's just such an underhanded way to play the game, you know, to cry and whine that, oh, I'm being brutalized and bullied. She's used these words. And this is the crap that she types about people on the internet. And it's just such a fucking joke. So anyway, as context, it is kind of funny in the comments. Tranquil is talking about, he's complaining about the fact that I cut Decky a break. You know, Decky doesn't presume to know the truth. She's searching, she's looking, and she's doing it in a very honest manner. She's not telling anybody what to believe. She's talking about her life and what she thinks and feels. That's not what you're doing on the internet, asshole. You're arrogantly pontificating. You're saying you know something. You know somebody's wrong. You know they're stupid. You know they're... And you're pointing your fucking finger, asshole. You're asking for a conflict. And it's not just about being a pretty girl. You could go back to Existential Cat. Loveliest girl almost on the internet, right? You know, I had a big fight with her, okay? Because, yeah, I wasn't going to accept whatever, atheism 0.20. Yeah, that just doesn't go anywhere. So that argument is bogus. And you want to be friends or something. Well, I'm sorry. I mean, you got to change your demeanor a lot on the internet if you intend to make friends, because you're doing it all the fuck wrong. So anyway, the only friends you have are my haters. I mean, that's the lose of your circumstance. You don't have any friends on the internet. It's the people who hate me. That's your only commonality. You ought to start your own little group, you know. Whatever, Ungariists or something, whatever. So anyway, enjoy exchanging ideas with you, but well, I should read it in the sexy voice she did for Nietzsche. But Nietzsche was such a mustached man. Holy crap, even though he was kind of nutty and crazy and nobody bought his crazy, silly, crappy books. And I don't even know why his name is famous except that maybe Hitler liked him. But otherwise he was a crackpot and a lunatic who didn't believe there was any such thing as right and wrong and really didn't know what fucking planet he was on. But anyway, it was really cool because he had a big fluffy mustache. Anyway, enjoy exchanging ideas with you, but maybe it's time to stop giving attention to and mend them. Well, I would agree with that. You ought to just find somebody else to be in love with. But anyway, unrequited, it's just sad and tragic. Anyway, Nietzsche said, great despisers are great admirers. Well, see, now isn't that a piece of babble? Oh, so if you despise Adolf Hitler, you admire him. You admire his great and preposterous silliness. That must be what it really is. You don't really hate him. You don't hate his ideas. You don't hate everything he stands for. No, you really just admire his stylish ways. That little mustache thing. It's mustaches again. Mustaches seem to be very important to people. Well, anyway, so again, crock of shit. Anyway, unless you do admire him, give him a pass. Unless you do admire him, give him a pass. Well, I think the point is you can't really pass. I mean, you can, but you can't. All right, because I sort of am relevant. All right, I mean, I do generate some arguments and some points of view, and I do make arguments that are not insubstantial, okay? Some of them are good arguments, and they have to be dealt with. If you're going to talk on a certain subject, you're going to have to deal with a Gary argument now and then. But I suppose he can give me a pass. It's okay with me if he does, so that's fine. Okay, pass. He has a very limited understanding of evolution, so there we go. So this is the kind of crap where, you know, he has a very limited understanding of evolution. So to even make that statement, you have to contend that you have a better understanding of evolution than I do. You're more of an authority. And very limited understanding. By what comparison? By what? By what standard are you judging my understanding of evolution? I mean, I'm obviously in the top 1% of human beings. So now the argument is of those million people, where do I stand in the million? Well, it's more than that, 6 million. So let's cut it to 0.5%. Let's just say it's a million. Say if I'm in the top million of the people who understand evolution. Well, let's not even have such a silly argument. But I mean, this is, who are you to degrade and diminish who I am and what I'm saying with a comment like this, and then expect somebody to say what in return to you except "fuck you, bitch"? Why don't you prove that with take one fucking quote of mine on the subject of evolution and demonstrate the error? Do that, please. But he insists that his fragmentary view, so you're saying it's a fragmentary view. Well, I mean, I guess you could make that argument, but you're going to have to add what fragments are missing. I mean, everything can be called a fragmentary view, right? You can't talk about anything without talking about the constituents. I mean, it's really idiotic. You talk about an engine or a car, you'll talk about its engine performance and how well it rides and the suspension and how well the brakes work and a lot of other, you talk about the fragments, and there's no way to do anything except from a fragmentary point of view. So this is again an empty accusation just intended to somehow defend this statement with another empty, vague, unsubstantiated accusation, just to give you some authority as if you can accuse. Oh, just disgusting. It is absolute truth. Absolute truth. I say it's defensible truth. I can defend it, and I don't believe there are any reasonable ways to escape what I state to be the truth. There's no reasonable escapes. It is truth beyond reasonable doubt, and that's the only truth we're ever going to have. And what is his truth? It's the idea that because our genes are selfish, we must be selfish too. Now, I've never said this. I've directly contradicted this many times. She keeps repeating the same accusation over and over and over and over again. I've made the argument that an intellectual understanding can completely own and reorient every element of our behavior. But it has to be a highly disciplined understanding. It has to be passionately, emotionally revered, in the sense that your whole self-esteem, your self-being has to be invested in this notion of the truth, of being good, of understanding that this is the road to good. So all those little emotional bits need to be in place, and then you need an evolved and an elegant understanding of the principles involved, the value equations and whatnot that would make you these things. But that's sort of how honor codes are developed. That's how people become better than their genes. All right, they become better than the nature. But again, it doesn't change the fact that we are individual, selfish organisms, and even the most highly principled people, as we have seen in history, have been capable of being seduced by a stupid, ignorant tart. Speaking of which, it's the idea, it's very flawed. Well, it's great for you to slander somebody with a false accusation and then claim that that's very flawed. So he's essentially, you've accused me of a murder that I didn't commit, and then he said, murderers suck. Well, that's not who I am, that's not the act I committed, and you have, again, you're just lying, you're just a slandering, lying bitch on the internet. A lot of legitimate evolutionary biologists, including Dawkins, have pointed out why. Well, now that's wrong, too. I mean, you keep claiming that Dawkins somehow unwrote the selfish gene. He didn't unwrite the book. Okay, he really didn't. He simply qualified it a little bit just to take the edge off the title, which spooked all the little girls like you. You all got wet pants, and they all came to his house with your wet panties and said, look, you made me wet my panties. And so he said, okay, I'll qualify the damn book. All right, so the idea is okay, we because of the fact that the genes are shared in families and in tribes, yeah, we can have fellowship with each other in those networks, and we might appear to be altruistic and very nice because we have interconnections, we have symbiotic relationships, we are parasitic friends to each other, we'll do favors for each other and expect favors in return and all of that crap. And so we don't appear quite as selfish in that context. But in the real world, it's still a selfish cell. We can see it in the world, the racism, the nationalism. You know, you get it on even the simple, even on sports, you can just see the psychology set loose. The mobs go raging down the street, turning over cars. I mean, come on. This is not, this isn't psychology that can even be debated anymore. So anyway, Dawkins has never sent me a letter saying, Gary, you don't know shit about evolution, retard. So until I see Dawkins say something specific to what I have said, this is again you're just reaching for an authority, saying the authority agrees with me, and that's not the truth. You don't have any letter signed by Dawkins saying, thank you very much for slandering the fuck out of everything I've said, do you? I don't think you do. Anyway, the reason his flawed ideology gets so much attention here on YouTube is, so here we go. So now we're just going to disqualify me some more. I don't get attention because I make an argument that's valid and reasonable. No, I get attention because I got silly hair. It's because people see intolerable levels of suffering and pain in the world, and they want an easy fix for it. Well, they want a fix. That's a key word. Yeah, they say, yeah, we ought to really do something about this because it's sort of unacceptable. That's what they're saying. It's an unacceptable level. It's not just a intolerable. It's unacceptable. And you've got the word right there. But apparently you're saying it's a tolerable level because you're saying it's not about an easy fix. It's about a fix, period. And, yeah, I mean, what? So let's just argue then that if people are against, well, you could say anything. You pick any subject, right? Because any subject, you could say there's circumstances where it's appropriate. So you could argue about date rape, or you could argue about child molesting. You say there's circumstances where, oh, it's harmless and benign and it's okay. You know, if you do it just right, it's okay. And the easy fix is just to say, fuck it, okay? Doing it just right is too rare and too difficult to accomplish, so fuck it all. And that's the easy fix. The easy fix isn't to waste time trying to nuance the details. The easy fix for the problem of nuclear power plants is to say, don't build the fucking things anymore. Right, well, that's the easy fix. And it seems to many people that would be the rational fix. It's just to find some alternative source of energy, because this just isn't worth irradiating the fucking planet over. And you're going to call that irrational because it's too easy? That's just, you know, again, you're resorting to easy slanders and easy argument techniques. This isn't a surgical strike. This is just a brutal bombing of one's character. You're a character assassin, and that's all you are. All right. What is that easy fix? That easy, according to Inmendum and other hardcore, simple solution ethicists, simply eradicate all life and you eradicate all suffering. Well, you eradicate all need, and yeah, you end a pointless game. I mean, there's an argument here, so you want to shape it into making it look draconian. All right, now everybody can do that with any policy. I remember it took 2 years to get people to wear seatbelts here. Okay, because what the hell, seatbelt? I ain't gonna wear no fucking seatbelt. You know, I mean, it was silly. You know, because people just wouldn't comply. I mean, it's just too much trouble, too inconvenient. It messed up my dress. Bullshit. And you know, so. I can't argue with the fact that the solution is ugly to our intuitive senses, because it's a concession of admitting defeat. But if you accept that defeat is is a viable option here, that this is not a winnable war, that the biology just doesn't allow for a winnable war. We are biologically constructed to be consuming organisms. We take packets of energy and consume them. And that's how we have to do that to survive. That's the obligation of our big bodies and the whole rest of this. And so our very nature has been to create a very aggressive organism that has to go out into the world and steal thousands of calories every day. That's the game we're caught up in. And to modify that game is going to take a radical change. And I haven't got to the psychology game. Our psychology is completely wrapped up in ego conquest, especially for males. I mean, it is the entire game. There is no other game. Okay, the game is to wipe out all the adversaries, get up on the highest peak, and stand there with your big boner and just say, "Fuck you, fuckers! I win." I mean, that's basically male psychology. And you're going to have to do an awful lot of brain surgery to eradicate the competitive nature. It's the thing that drives people. It's the thing they derive their ego gratification from, is being in the top 1 or the top 2% or the top this or the top. Yeah, it's all about chasing the little shiny shit, the pretty shit, not being all the negative shit, not being smelly, not being poor, not being stupid, not being a burden, not being... Yeah, there's a whole bunch of shit on our don't be list. And that's the way we function. Silly person. Nothing you say will change their refusal to see how infeasible that is. Well, it's obviously feasible. I have evidence of the feasibility because I'm it and these other people are it. Okay, so I have more than one sample, so it's not just one human on Earth that was able to draw the conclusion. So I can point to these others and say, see, look, this mindset is not that hard to develop inside of a human being, and the human being doesn't explode or nothing horrible happens to them when they draw this conclusion. So this conclusion's completely compatible with human life. Just like vegetarianism is completely compatible with a functional, satisfying life. So it's doable. There's no obvious impediment, hard impediment. There's only soft impediments, the soft impediments of psychological bullshit, of memes, okay, of what's a popular notion. It's just popular notion, okay? So instead of getting your gratification watching idiots hit baseballs over a fence, you could get your gratification watching intellectuals solve problems. That's a doable scenario. You can see how that migration would be possible. And it's the same thing here. Okay, that the problem is the need mechanism, the addiction, and all you have to do is migrate the attraction until it disappears. And then you don't need to be here anymore. You don't need to have a next generation because this generation won't have any horniness for being Frankenstein. They won't need to make monsters. They can envision no purpose for that. Oh, Jesus. It makes sense to remember that when someone wants to tell you the absolute truth in capital letters, well, whatever. There's truth in the world. You're going to deny that, then I think you're being an idiot, okay? There's a reality to describe. Now, if you're going to arrogantly get on the internet and say you know something, well, then you better know the truth. So, yeah, I mean, I'm arguing for a truth that can't be rationally defeated. Okay, you can't construct a rational argument to defeat the truth that's being stated. And until you can do some damage to it, till you can knock the little chair legs out from underneath what is being said, you don't have any real right to use this derogatory language, assuming that just because it's being stated as a fact, that somehow you can say, a fact? What is a fact? We don't need no stinking facts. I mean, yeah, you can make a joke out of it, but it's not a joke. There's a truth to be revealed. The truth I'm saying is the truth. This is just gameplay by a DNA molecule. The entire structure is just a contrivance for the replication of a DNA molecule. That's the game really being played. And it's being played with pawns and all this stuff, and it's all disposable, and it all is horribly waste. There's just a tremendous waste, and there's absolutely nothing to be accomplished except replicating for the sake of replicating. That's the game. Replication for the sake of replication. Not replication for the sake of saving the universe. Not replication because little Sally Simpleton, really wants it for Christmas. No, it's accomplishing, it's serving absolutely no functional need. No need is being served by this need we're creating. That's a lose proposition. You don't create need that doesn't need to exist. That's illogical on its face. It's stupid. Because he wants to control you. Now that's another little accusation, another little shot at my character. I'm not talking about what I understand the truth to be. I'm really after control. I want to control people. And the irony is there's absolutely nothing in my demeanor or in my production of my videos or anything else to indicate that that's my objective. I do nothing to seduce anybody to this color force, whatever color it is, whatever shade of light or dark. And so that just seems like such an obvious lie. I mean, if I wanted to attract somebody to something dishonestly, then I would do something dishonest. So I think obviously I don't have any ambition to control. I have ambition to see waste eradicated. It's difficult to turn away from, but the way out is via the door. Well, there's no door on YouTube, but whatever. As someone who banged my head against the inflexible ideology for way too long, well, you probably should learn how to speak and articulate a point of view, and then you wouldn't have to bang your head. Banging heads is really not a very effective way of doing anything. We're going to take everything literally. I can tell you that you are playing a zero-sum game. Yeah, well, I've used that term an awful lot on the internet. Yeah, that's my phrase. With someone who uses insults and logically inconsistent. Well, it's a little spelling error. Logical inconsistencies. Who uses insults? So I use insults. I don't return insults. I use insults. No, well, the fact of the matter is I return insults. That's right. I don't accept insults, and I'll send them back to you, little kunky, yeah, right back to your kunky, your, well, whatever. I won't even go there. Yes, your magnificent kunkiness. I'll send them right back to you. That's right. I'm not going to accept your insults. Okay, fuck you. That's what you get when you insult me. I turn around and I go, fuck you. And that's what I did to you, you stupid insulting kunk. And logical inconsistencies. Let's say she meant logically inconsistent statements are logical inconsistencies. So again, why can't you detail them? Why can't you put them on a list? You can compile a list. You could I think you have a website. You got a little text file there. You could make videos and always link to the little text file of all my logical inconsistencies, all the statements I made that contradict each other, all of that. You could compile some sort of thing called evidence, but you don't bother doing that. You just slander people on the internet. You little shortcutter, your little easy fix, because you can't win the argument fair, you have to cheat in this manner. Alright, to support claims he has only true logic. To support claims he has the only true logic. Well, that wasn't a very good sentence, right? I can tell you that you're playing a zero-sum game with someone who uses insults and logically inconsistencies to support claims he has only true logic. He has the only true logic. Okay, that makes more sense. He has the only true logic. Well, what I mean, it's obviously it's not only me who has it. But again, why would I argue for something? Why would I open my mouth? Why would I, unless I was certain? I mean, people who are certain something is wrong, evil, destructive, the cause of a problem, that they have a solution, well, then they open their mouth and they make the argument. That's what I've done. Now, if you have some contrary logical statement to make that can unravel the logical statements I've made, well, then that's a fair fight. Then you can go ahead and do that. But you don't do that. All you do is say, Nietzsche's mustache is cool, or something like that. I mean, really, you don't even have, like, multi-word great quotes. I mean, really, great despisers or great admirers? What the fuck is that? Jeez, it's stupid. It's futile to try to convince someone who will insist on continuing to believe simplistic, draconian solutions will fix life's intractable problems. I mean, you've declared them intractable. You've said this, basically, you can't fix these things because I don't want the cure. Okay, I want to perpetuate the disease. I'd rather the disease be perpetuated by your value equation. And then you claim that you care about the victims. I care, except fuck those people that get collaterally damaged because I want to do this. I mean, that's all you're saying. You have a different standard for what's acceptable. And because of that different standard of acceptability, you've now changed the word. You've changed what is not an intractable problem into a tractable. Intractable. It's a tractable problem. We know what the mechanism is: consumption, reproduction, addiction, cannibalism. All right, it's tractable. This is the mechanism. And the simple solution, the straightest line solution, is that evil now? Simple solutions are straight line solutions, are efficient solutions, are directest solutions. Those are now evil. Okay, we can clump them all together, all right, and pigeonhole them into some sort of short-sighted myopatry, and we should instead find the bumpiest, silliest road to the future. Let's jump on the Avo. let's use advertising dollars to finance all of our public media infrastructure. That'll ensure that the common denominator gets served. The lowest common denominator. So anyway. Way more than a video I should have done, but this is just so duplicitous, like I said. So anybody who is sympathetic to be serious's whines and complains about the ridicule she has to endure, just understand this is what she occupies her time with on the internet. Alright, paragraphs and paragraphs of this character assassination. That's her game on the internet. She has no balls. I mean, it's a fact. She just has no balls. I mean, it's not her fault, but, I still have to call it a character flaw, because she just doesn't get the integrity thing. She can't fight like a man. She's fighting like a sissy fucking girl. Alright, cheating. She's just cheating all over the place. And I say, fuck you, bitch. Fuck you, bitch. Fuck you, bitch. Yeah, that was a good one. Fuck you, bitch. You can see how many different ways Shakespearean fuck you. No, I really can't do that. Anyway, yeah, fuck you, bitch. And that was kind of weak. Fuck you, bitch. Yeah, that was a good one.